Hello. Okay, somebody suggested that I don't wear the wolf ears, which is not going to happen because that's part of my online persona or whatever. It's who I am. It's whatever. It's me. It's what I like to wear and feel comfortable wearing on camera when I'm on camera. So, but just for today, just for this one time, I thought fine, I won't wear the wolf ears. But I did want to make another video because I have been accused of having Hitler thinking. That's just so bizarre. It's like, okay, so to think that if we don't do something now to get our act together as far as being more responsible, as far as I'm saying, as far as a lot, okay, if we don't get our act together and be responsible now about how we are overpopulating and using up all the planet's resources, in the future it might become necessary for really despicable measures, strong despicable measures like, and I'm not talking about, oh, let's commit genocide on the human race, which is what Hitler did, or select people who are better specimens at, whatever, which is what Hitler did. I'm talking about in the future making it where people have to have a limit on how many children they have. China has already done this. Look what's happened there. There's an infanticide toward girls, little baby girls. It's pretty despicable. I don't particularly think that's a good thing. I don't think having putting limits on how many children a family has is a good thing. I don't think that telling poor people that they can't have children because they can't prove that they have the financial wherewithal to raise kids is a good thing. I'm not saying that I think these are good things. I think they're really bad things. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, that if we don't do something now, and I'm really amazed that I'm even having to say this because hello, we are all walking around with blinders on and tunnel vision, completely ignoring this huge problem that is the fact that we have already overpopulated the world, and we can't afford to double our numbers in the next 100 years, or triple or quadruple our numbers in the next 100 years like we've done in the last 100 years. We can't do that. If we do that in 100 years, will this world even be habitable? Not only for other animal species, but for our own species. I mean, go to a busy city street, or even if you can't do that, just look at pictures of a busy city street. And now imagine if we double our numbers, what that's going to look like in 100 years. Even 100 years from now, that could be like within your child's lifetime or your child's lifetime. Do you want your child to have to live in such a world? Do you want your child to live in a world where there's no parks and no beaches and no place to get away from it all? Because humans have taken over every square inch. Do you want your child to be in that kind of world? I think we're already too late, personally, but I think it's time that we start using strong language and look at the facts and stop tuning out the problem and start looking at the problem and go, okay, what can I do? What can I do as a person? One little person, what can I do to try to curb this problem? Taking responsibility for what our children and our grandchildren are going to have to live in the future. Taking responsibility for that right now. Oh, well, that's a problem for them, for the future generations. I won't have to deal with it because I'll be dead. That is not taking responsibility. That's handing over a plate of crap to the future generations to have to deal with. All I am saying is if we don't start taking this seriously now in our generation, during our generation, it's really too late for my generation. Most of us are beyond the years that we can have children, but nevertheless the attitude is there. We're perpetuating this attitude. We're encouraging our children or our grandchildren to have as many kids as possible because our religion says, or whatever, just because we had a big family, so we think that they should have a big family too. This is not the way we need to keep going. This is a recipe for extinction for everything, including humans. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we don't take responsibility, if we don't start controlling ourselves and go, you know what, there's really a lot of people here. There's people starving in the world because our planet doesn't have enough resources to feed all of us. We really should start turning down the volume, thinking small cars instead of big cars, small houses instead of big houses. Oh, hey, I have a really big house. I have enough room to have 10 kids. Well, that's fine, but what about outside your house? What about the school down the street? How many kids are there in the classroom right now? And how much quality of education, how much one-on-one is each student getting? Because there's so many kids in the class. When I was in high school, the average class size was like 30. How big is it now compared to then? And when I was in high school, I probably could have done better if I could have had a little more one-on-one with my teachers. I had a low self-esteem. I actually did have 2 teachers in junior high who did give me one-on-one time. And because of them, my math scores went from a D to an A. Just because they gave me a little extra attention, I got better at math. I completely sucked at math and nobody gave me the time of day. My 7th grade teacher, I had my vision went bad on me in the 7th grade. I mean, I had bad vision anyway. But when you're a kid and your glasses, your prescription starts to wear out, you don't notice because it happens really gradually. And so I wasn't able to see what he was writing on the board. And anyway, I got behind in math. And thank you to my I had a junior high 8th grade and 9th grade math teachers, Mr. Hopkins and Mr. Saxa. And those are my favorite teachers to this day because they gave me the time of day to sit down and help me catch up and get back on track with math. And can teachers do that anymore? I mean, they have even bigger classes now. Do they have the ability to do that now? Okay, so you hire a tutor. How many families can afford a tutor? I'm just saying quality of education goes down, class size gets bigger. All these things happen because we have too many people on the planet. And the one way that each individual person can make a difference in the world, the one small way, that doesn't really take that much work, that you can make a difference, maybe not to this generation, but to the future generations, is to stop having big families. Forget what the stupid religion is teaching you, because you know what? It's anti-conservation. It's anti-planet Earth. It is harmful to this planet to continue to have this attitude that you need to have big families for God. Ooh, we got to have as many souls on the planet as we can to get as many people into heaven. No, because first of all, we only have one planet, and there's quality of life. This is our only life. Heaven is a wishful thinking thing. There's no way to prove it even exists. Planet Earth exists. Life, if we're lucky enough to get life, exists now. And quality of life does matter. And the quality of life of the future generations does matter. And no, I am not like Hitler for saying that I think we all need to be doing our part now to keep it from happening in the future, that this that extreme measures are taken in the future. Do we want that to happen in the future? Do we want to have a government that dictates how many kids we can have or who can have kids, that kind of thing? Do we want that for our children to have to deal with or our grandchildren to have to deal with? Do we want a government like that needs to take control like that? Or do we want to do what we can do to prevent that from happening now? By stop having big families now. Say, you know what? Religion does poison everything, and this is one of the things that it's doing to cause detrimental harm to this planet. It's telling people they need to have big families for God. You know what? For the planet, for future generations, we do not need to have big families. We need to have really small families. So in the future, maybe our children still have the freedom, or our grandchildren still have the freedom to have the kind of family that they want. So that's my rant. I really didn't appreciate being accused of having Hitler thinking. I am not for what Hitler did. I am not for family birth control or forced birth control or whatever. I am not for these things. I am saying this is a warning. If you want your children or your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren to have the same freedom to decide what they want, what kind of family they want that we have now, we need to stop being selfish, and we need to stop pumping out babies like a little Pez dispenser without any thought to what it means for future generations, how many children we have right now. So, just to clarify where I'm coming from, I think that the stronger the language we use right now, the more warnings we put out right now, the more we try to shake people and wake them up and say, hey, we can't keep going the way we've been, because one day it's going to be, the problem's going to be so huge there's nothing that we can do except extreme measures, which would really, really suck. And no, I'm not for that. I'm very adamantly against that, which is why I'm saying this. Okay, so that's it. I felt like having a rant. I am not Hitler. I don't agree with what Hitler did. And I really wanted to clarify, and I really think it's a really crappy thing to do. To say to somebody who's pro-population, let's take control of ourselves, people, now before it's too late. Just for saying that, I'm being accused of thinking like Hitler. Hello? So anyway, no wolfy ears this time. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.